Hey guys, with the curious case of Benjamin bulbs, we have come to the end of this module. So let us go to the next module, which is patterns. So I click on the pattern and I click on this first pattern. Okay. There is a saying about patterns that anybody who knows to write patterns knows the language quite well. Be it Java, be it C, be it C++, be it Python, any language, if you have to learn a language properly, or if you know the language properly, you will be able to code patterns quite comfortably. Patterns are classic examples of nested loops. We utilize nested loops to create patterns. We had utilized the nested loop, for and while loop together in that prime factorization problem. We'll see the implication of nested loops in patterns quite often. So let us start with this first pattern. We are given a number n and you have to create a pattern of stars and separated by tab, okay, as shown in output format. Okay, so here it is. If the number is 2, I need 1 star in the first line and then 2 stars in the second line. Okay, that means in the first line, I have 1 star. In the second line, I have 2 star. In the third line, I have 3 stars. So the row number equals the number of the stars. So let me write it down. The row number equals the number of stars in that row. We can say this? Yes. So suppose if my row number is 3, the third row should have 3 stars. If my row number is 7, so the 7th row should have 7 stars. One part of this problem is clear. Okay. Now in each row, we see that there are subsequent elements, subsequent stars, one by one, separated by a tab and not a line. Okay. So each row has a number of stars based on the row number, and separated by a tab and not a line. Okay, we get this? At the end, there is a line. Yeah. Okay. So after the first, since in the first row we have 1 star, then a line. In the second row, we have 2 stars, then a line, but there is no line between the 2 stars. So I can say that we need to devise a loop, say for example for int I equals 1, I going till say 5 and I plus plus. Okay, and to print the star, this should do something like system.out.println print what? Star. And since we need to separate them by tab, we'll use /t. Okay, what this does is prints a number of stars. In the first line, it will print 1 star. In the second line, it will print 2 stars. In the third line, it will print 3 stars, and so on. Okay? No. Here, it will print the number of stars. Like, it will go from 1 till 5 and print the stars. So, it will print 5 stars. But I don't need 5 stars in all lines. I need the number of stars when compared with the row number. So if it is the first row, it should have only 1 star and not 5 stars. For that, we will devise one more loop, which is, let me write it here, for int I equals 1, I going till n, and I plus plus. Okay, what this will do? This will run my I till n. So it will run for the first row, it will run to the second row, it will run for third row, whatever my n will be, it will run till that row. Okay, this is clear. Now, what do? We have to combine these two loops and get our desired output. Say, for since I have I, I'll change it to j. So int j should run from 1 till not 5, because now we have the number for I. So I'll make it run from j equals 1 to j is less than equal to I and j plus plus. Okay, and then print this. What this do? Let us see. Here, okay, let us forget about this loop, inside loop, because we will go one by one. And basically, when we are on any loop, we don't get into the nitty-gritty of that loop. We don't get inside that loop. We just concentrate on the first layer. First layer. Okay, layer is the new word coming up here. Why did I talk about layer? Because I want to talk to you about the concept of abstraction here. What is the concept of abstraction? We have seen, or everybody switches on the lights or turns off the light. Okay, so do we know what happens when we switch on the light? Obviously, the light is switched on. But does anybody know what is the mechanism behind it? Which circuit is turned on, which circuit is turned off when we switch on or switch off the light? No, we are not concerned with that. We are only concerned with switching on the light to switch on the light and turning off to turn it off. We are not concerned with the inner working of the loop. When I am here in this line, I won't be concerned with the inner loop if there is any. I will only be concerned with this upper loop. When I'm inside this, I won't be concerned with any other loop except for this. This should be our logic. Whenever we buy a house, or maybe we build a house, we need to do carpentry works, we need to do painting works, we need to do electrician works. So we call these people. They do their task and they go. My house is built. But do I know how to paint? Do I know how electricity works, or how means the task of electrician is? I don't know. I am only concerned with building my house, so I call them up and they do their task. We are not concerned with the nitty-gritties. We are only concerned with the outer thing. We are only concerned with the outer loop. We are only concerned with getting a building, getting a house, nothing else. So, in that regards, let us see this loop. Forget about this loop inside. This loop will run from 1 till n. So if n is 5, this will run from 1 and perform the task, then it will go to the second one, then perform the task, and subsequently it will perform other tasks. For example, let me see if this is for loop and I'm writing system.out.println and I'm printing Shubham. Let's see what it does. I am keeping it here and let's see what it does. I'm running it. Okay, this will give an error because n is not there, so I'll put n and n equals scn.nextEnd. Okay, int I is the int, and is okay. So n will be an output, and I'll give the number, say unclosed. Okay, this is closed, this is closed, this is closed. Which one is unclosed? Is there any unclosed? Oh, it's saying it's unclosed comment, so I'll close the comment. Wait, I'll close the comment here and then run it to show you what happens. I gave the number as 5, so the number it's like, no, I gave the input as say 3 and I run it. It will print 3 Shubhams in 3 separate lines because this is println, so it will print Shubhams in 3 separate lines. But I don't need Shubham. I need Shubham for, in the first row I need 1 Shubham, in the second row I need 2 Shubhams, in the third row I need 3 Shubhams, and likewise. So I will be utilizing another loop, which is this one which we have discussed below, and I'll copy and paste it that. So let me paste this whole code and check if it works. See, let me arrange it. Yes. So what happens? See, for int I equals 1, I goes till n, I plus plus, system.out.println, this shouldn't be there, and we'll have this loop inside this for loop. Okay, j equals 1, j goes till less than equal to I, j plus plus, and then we print the number of stars, which is 1 star separated by t, because this loop will do the job of printing the stars. And then when we come out of this inner loop, we print a line. You will say why? Because at the end of every last star, we need to print a line so that it gets to the next line. Here we are not printing any lines. So if this wasn't there, the next set of stars would also be separated by the same tab, and so all will come into the same line. So my task of getting number of stars equal to number of rows would be incomplete, because I would be getting all the rows in the same line. So I will have only one line, means one row, and a number of stars. So that won't work out. So I print a line, and let's check if this works. I'll do a run. See, since my input was 3, I have 1 star in the first line, 2 stars in the second line, 3 stars in the third line. Let me make my input as 5, and I get 1 star in the first line, 2 stars in the second line, 3 stars in the third line, 4 in the fourth line, and 5 in the fifth line. So yes, our task is done, and hopefully you got a good concept of abstraction, a good concept of nested loops, and this was a successful pattern printing for you. And cheers to many more. So let me submit it and see if all test cases have passed. And we get yes, 10 out of 10. So all test cases have passed, and hence we'll now move to the next pattern. And happy patterning. Thank you.